Hello and welcome to Divinely Empowered with Antonia. Today we have Kate and Matty from Mama's Cottage Mushrooms. They are people I met at the Birmingham NEC when I did my trade show recently, and they were selling amazing mushroom tinctures and also rapé bottles, which I got. I paid for this and we thought it was really fun and some interesting different pipes and Amazonian things and lots of wonderful ceremonial medicines from around the world. So welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Nice to be here.
Thank you. Okay, so tell us all about what you bring to the world.
Where do we start? Ready to start from the beginning?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah,
very good place to start. How did you meet?
That's what we're going to start at.
That's how we generally start. We do it when we go out and about. We do quite a lot of talks. We generally do start with how we started because people are always curious about our story and how we met and how it all really began. So it was during a time when there was still quite a lot of people that wearing those funny things on faces. And I went to a supermarket. Now it was really hot and a little voice in my head was saying, you've got to go shopping. And then I was like going, well, no, I don't want to go shopping. And the voice kept on at me, no, you have to go shopping. So I got a bit huffy and like, okay, because I always listen to the little voice in the head. So like, okay, so off I go with my little trolley. And right in the middle of the supermarket, our paths collide with my trolley and Matty with his little pull-along basket.
We found each other in the bargain aisle. That's what happened.
Yeah. So we got quite excited because I was like, oh my God, it's another naked face. How wonderful.
So I know, you did find camaraderie. I did it certainly, and I think most of my audience are aware of a lot of the things which have been going on, which we don't want to talk about too much on YouTube. But there was a definite camaraderie when you saw other naked phases during the pandemic. You were like, ooh,
smiley.
I can see your smile. You don't have zits.
Exactly.
And you can actually breathe and you're not damaging your lungs and bacteria and mold in your lungs. No moldy lungs here.
That's a topic for something else, I think.
Awesome.
It might not be a YouTube thing to talk about, but yes. So yeah, it was beautiful when you saw other people in the camaraderie. You were like, oh yes, you're one of us. And it's just I don't know, it's like when I used to smoke cigarettes and you used to be outside and be the naughty people smoking, and then you were like, oh, you had like little buddies. Like, and it was supermarket buddies with naked faces. Yes, I was there. I was part of that movement.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's quite exciting because at the time, I was a single mom. I didn't have much adult contact, and certainly not with other naked faces anyway. So it was apart from my mom, but moms are moms, aren't they? Really, in the day. So bless her, I love her to pieces. So it got quite exciting. So we struck a conversation straight away. So one thing led to another. We met the next day for a walk with the cat, and
I used to have a beautiful cat, and he was very human-like. Let's put it that way. We communicated very well, and he's not with us anymore, which still hurts me, to be fair. But that's another story. So yeah, me and Kate went for a walk down a place called the Quarry in Shrewsbury. It's a beautiful place along the river, and the cat came with us. Just followed us around and ended up me carrying him everywhere, and everyone looking at us very strange because we were taking the cat for a walk. But we're used to people looking at us strange anyway. That's okay.
So then we just...
Was it love at first shop?
Pardon?
Was it love at first shop?
Oh, yeah, completely, yeah. Best bargain I'd found all year.
Forever?
Forever, yeah, that's it, forever.
And so you had a lot in common when you met, did you? Was that what you realised?
Well, one of the first things that Matty said to me was, I'm a very spiritual man, which isn't ordinary things that come out of males.
Demons are spirits too. Everyone should be aware. If someone says they're spirits, go demons are spirits too. Be more specific.
We don't drink. Neither of us drink either. So,
to the audience, just in case anyone comes across this, you obviously you're radiating light, Matty, not for you, just for everyone else.
Oh, you can see the halo then, yeah? The mushrooms growing out of it.
So he said he was spiritual.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, so it just kind of one thing led to another really, and then we just kind of started to get to know each other, and then the family side starts coming in, as in Matty's parents and my mum, and then Matty's dad was starting to deteriorate a little bit, so we started thinking about ways that we could help Matty's father with because we got to look after our parents really, because they look after.
What way? What was going on?
So when I was little, it was me and my dad. We were really close, just because it was me and him. Like, so to see changes in my dad as he was getting into them elder years, to see the forgetfulness, the repeating himself, it really got me here, and it hurt a lot. So I just asked for help from source, from spirit, whatever name you want to give it. And then at the time I was part of like a men's circle, men's spiritual circle. We used to meet once a week. One of us would choose different things to do, go walking, loads of different things. And then one of the chaps, Raoul, who I've seen today, actually, he's got a coffee shop in Shrewsbury. It stocks our medicines as well. He puts it in his teas and his coffees. And he said, oh, I've got a friend who's got a permaculture project. Let's go up there. Let's go up there for the day. So we went up there. It's a friend of ours, Janta. He's just outside Shrewsbury as well. And so I met Janta. Hi, how you doing? And Janta went, yeah, oh, this is Radu. He's the mushroom man. He grows mushrooms. And he walked out with the tray of lion's mane, which is that beauty there. And that's the one that assists with dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, ADHD. So that was my manifestation coming into reality, really, to help my dad.
Beautiful.
So yeah, that was beautiful. And then on mine and Kate's path after that, we began to grow lion's mane. Just in the garage and grow tents. And first flush, we had absolute bucket loads of it. Put it out to the local community, and it was just snapped up, gone. Just the fresh mushroom as it is there, which tastes.
What do you do with it? I mean, I know you can buy tinctures and such, but what do you do with it there? Can you saute it with some onions, or do you have to like leave it raw, or what do you do?
It's an edible. It's beautiful. It tastes like it's very similar to like lobster and crab. Beautiful, really, really beautiful.
I like a bit of lobster and crab.
Try it, honestly, it's wonderful.
No, I mean, I've had it from tinctures and things, but I've not had it in the raw form or the cooked form.
Yeah, it's a challenge to find it fresh these days. It's such a rare mushroom now. It's endangered in the wild, which is really sad to hear and see. People, when they don't know, they take everything, and we shouldn't. We should, leave a third of it. Please leave a third. Let it keep growing. Let it do what it does. These are beautiful gifts from Mother for all of us, not just for one of us. We need to share. So yeah, we moved forward from the first flush, and we put that out. Local community bought it all. When you grow mushrooms, you usually get 3 flushes, maybe 4 if you're doing really, really good. So next flush, same again. Put it straight out, all gone, and then it's like, well, what else can we do? And we were directed to start making tinctures. So that began with the next flush, and then again, all gone. So it was like, well, this works. It works. It feels light. It feels right inside. Let's move forward. Let's use what we know already about the woods. Kate grew up with herbs. I grew up with quite a lot of mushrooms around me. I did grow up in that rave culture, so obviously there's quite a lot of mushrooms there. Yeah. So yeah, got out in the woods. I think the next one we picked was one called Wood's Ears, which is full of pantothenic acid and a lot of copper in it and zinc, which our bodies can struggle to absorb, actually. So when you get it in that sort of form, the body really, really takes to it. So that was the next one on the agenda, Wood's Ears. That went okay. Not brilliant. It's not something we make anymore, but it was part of them stepping stones of our journey. So we're always thankful to that mushroom. If you're listening, my friend, I love you. And then the next one was they're my friends. You're laughing at.
It's a
the next one was birch polypore. The birch polypores are beautiful, beautiful mushroom. They feel very like energetic wise. They feel very happy and
I've had birch tree water. Yes, it's delicious.
That's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Have you had it fresh?
Definitely had it from a can. Have I had it fresh? I may have had it fresh. I've definitely, because they started canning it, and I thought that was quite interesting. I'm not sure if I've had it fresh. It's probably not nearly as good, is it? It's
a bit strange, the canning side of it, really, or the bottling of it, because when you have it fresh, it only lasts like 2 or 3 days. That is it. So my thoughts, it's like, well, what else is in there to keep it, to preserve it?
Probably boiled it, maybe.
No, you need I think there's citric acid in there that they use, but it's not
mold. Citric acid is mold.
Yeah, most of us, this is something we can talk about. Most of us think of a citric acid, we think of lemon straight away, and that's not how it works within the
mold.
Food.
Yeah,
it's a fungus, it's a mold, and it's really not a good one on the body at all.
I know, and it's a big ingredient in many things, and we just think it's
everywhere.
Lemons and limes, and it sure as heck isn't.
It changed in, I think it was like the 70s or the 80s when they started mass producing that.
Misled.
It's something we all need to be thoughtful about. It really is. It's in all your carbonated drinks. It's all over the place, in your sauces. Yeah.
I know, better to cook from scratch if one can, and it's cheaper.
Of course.
And tastier.
And tastier, yeah.
You put love in it. You put your energy in, and you share it with your family. Share that love. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing. Okay, so continue on your mushroom journey, please.
Okay, where do we go next?
So yes, we started making the lion's mane. That was the first medicine we put out there. So then we kind of thinking, well, this is kind of interesting. Why is it flying out so quickly? What's coming next? So it was the next step that we took was actually going onto a market, our local market, to actually get out with the public to try and get some feedback and put it out there and talk to people and educate people, because we realized that then people were quite naive to what the benefits of mushrooms were. And it wasn't at that point in mainstream media. It was very rare that you heard about the benefits of medicinal mushrooms in mainstream media. So we started freezing our asses off, standing in a market.
I actually got frostbite in my toes last year in December.
Holy moly!
Yeah, I was in Stafford on a market up there, but it's just part of what we do. It's got to get out there, isn't it? They're all right.
Get some better socks, mate.
Stand on some cardboard. But we actually went to go, because we thought we did actually try to run before we could walk, and we were thinking, right, let's go and put our stuff in shops and get it out there. And one contact that we made, she has been such an ally to us. I'd probably say she is one of the very, very, very few people that's a true ally to us. And she's actually handed over a festival for us to take over as well now. And she's still a very close friend of ours.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's amazing. So we learned a lot from her. She taught us a lot, basically, and she's still got our back now, which is incredible. So then we started reining back a little bit, and because when you find something that you really love and enjoy doing, you get really excited. It's like having a new puppy. It's like, oh my god, look, it's so fun, it's so great, let's go do this, we do that, we do that, and it's like So that's kind of how we were. So we thought, okay, let's just slow it down. We need to get out and talk to people about this. And so that's why we started going onto the markets. And it was really, really great. It was great fun. And we still have a real soft spot for that market.
Ludlow market, Ludlow in Shropshire.
Yeah. And
Beautiful place.
we just don't have the time to go back there, because from there we started doing little events, like little one-day local events, and again, people loving it, people talking about it, people spreading the word, they're asking more questions. Then mushrooms started coming more into mainstream media. So then we were getting more, then by then we'd had the website, a very basic website. We'd had Facebook up and running. So that was getting more movement and more traction. And then what we did, we were just like finding our feet with it. And then we had a number of mushroom tinctures and some herbal ones as well. And we just had some loose herbs. That's all we had. And then we did a flash sale between the Christmas and New Year period. And then from that, it just catapulted. It just went absolutely crazy.
And it's still going now.
And it hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped at all. So when Matty says, you know, we get guided to do certain things, what we mean by that is that we listen to spirit, to source, the universe. We watch for the signs, we listen to the signs. We very much go with how we feel with it. If it feels right, then that's the right way to go. We've had to learn a lot of hard lessons very quickly, but we are going in places where 2 years ago we wouldn't have even had the foggiest that we would have even accomplished half of what we've accomplished in a short amount of time.
It's been phenomenal. It really has.
All right, so let's get into some mushroom lore. So Christmas is coming. We are filming this on the last day of November. So Christmas is about to manifest. So anything to do with mushrooms and Christmas?
Yeah, a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If there's any children listening, they need to get out the room right now.
Yes, this is a version of how Santa Claus is related to mushrooms. So this is the potential original story. I haven't heard their version. I've researched this myself as well. So let's hear your version.
Okay, so
how do mushrooms relate to Christmas?
Okay, so there's a mushroom called amanita muscaria, or the fly garlic, which is this little beauty here. Get a bit closer, you see the red and the white.
So it's red with white spots.
Yeah, so there's a little giveaway with old Santa, isn't there? There's another one here. I'll show you this one as well. It's a bit better. We've got a lovely jar of them here as well. My little friends, little beauties. Amazing medicine, actually. So, with Santa Claus, the old story. So, the spiritual home.
If there are children, you may want to ask them to leave the room because this might
we don't
be upsetting to children. Continue.
Thank you. So, the spiritual home of this mushroom is Siberia. So, in Siberia, and there's not many of these people left, there are the Samis, Sami community. We lost a lot of them during the time of Stalin.
Yeah, I know they were massacred. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't go too deep into it.
I know. I've met them as well because I've been to the Arctic Circle and done the Aurora Borealis tour, and so we met some Samis in Norway, and along the way. Yep.
Yeah. So within your small communities that the Samis live in, there's always a shaman, as there is with all the old.
So the Samis are they're sort of tribal people who lives in small communities. They look after the reindeers. They're sort of what would you call them?
They're indigenous. They're indigenous, aren't they?
Indigenous, yes, that would be a great word for it. And they were having spent a little bit of time and done some tours around this, they were thought of as lesser by Stalin and by some of the other people that and so they were eradicated quite a lot. So it was a very dark history.
Modern society classes them as less, and it's not. It's the opposite way around. It really is.
Yeah, and okay. So now I think people will understand some background. Perfect. Come on.
Great. So within the community, within the Sami communities, you got the shaman. So if you have an issue, a spiritual issue, you go and see your shaman. He would ingest this mushroom, as it is a psychoactive. People would say a psychedelic. I wouldn't really say that. It's very different. It's very takes you to a very different land to most of the psychedelics people use and understand. It's very much mirror land, shadow land. So when it's a spiritual issue, you go to shadow land to deal with it. So the Sami would ingest this and be taken to these different realms. On his way to the realms, he would be flown there by his spirit animals, the reindeer. And from that realm, he would come back with the gifts of knowledge for the community, for the questions asked. So that's a little part of it. Now, within the community, it's like the Samis would live in yurts. Within the colder months and the darker months, they get snowed in. So the shaman would actually go around the village and deliver these gifts direct to the community, and he would have to climb down the smoke hole to be able to deliver them, just like Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's similar to mine. But then I think there was something about reindeer's pee in the version that I heard. What's that bit?
Within, so
I don't know. I just twinged in my brain. I researched this many years ago.
This is a very, very complex mushroom. Not that any of the others are lesser, they're not. But to work with this, it's not something you do as a first timer. Let's put it that way. To make medicine out of it, there's an acid in there that can make you quite sick, but that can metabolize in the body into the psychedelic, psychoactive medicine that people use. So they would, instead of ingesting it themselves, they give it to reindeer, and reindeers love it anyway. It's like their favorite munchies. It really is.
And it's also found around the coniferous trees, around the base of the coniferous trees, which is related to Christmas trees and Santa with the red and the white.
Yeah, they're the gifts under the tree. Yeah. So the reindeer would eat it, ingest it, convert it into the medicine, and then the community would drink the urine.
Yeah.
But then also you can carry this on because the medicine doesn't go away. So you can ingest it and somebody else can drink yours. And we can keep going round in a circle and keep going round and round and round.
How many times can you reuse your pee?
Doesn't go. How awesome is that? The gift that never stops giving.
New information. Okay.
There is another part to that, to the folklore with amanita, which I've only found out about recently, and it's to do with the Bible and the resurrection. I can't remember the guy's name, but it's a beautiful document he wrote all about this and its association to the Bible. Now, his last remaining issue with it was to do with the resurrection. He couldn't understand how it related to this mushroom. And then he was out in the woods and he found some that were a bit gone a bit minging, started breaking down. And he noticed that there was like a white mycelium growing out of it. Mycelium is what is under the ground. That's what's so imagine an apple tree. The apple is the fruit, like the mushroom, and the tree is the mycelium, which is under the ground for the mushroom. Okay, so we noticed this mycelium growing out what had broken down from that mushroom. So he started to work with it and analyze it. So basically, the mushroom would die for 3 days, like the resurrection, and then start producing its own mycelium and start growing again, which is quite an interesting story.
I think it is. And yes, and then people did get stuck in their houses, and then they had to go down, as you say, the smoke holes to get down the what we would call chimneys. Yeah. Well, I don't know if they were smoke holes. I thought they were just a delivery hatch, or there was something, because the idea of a chimney, obviously you don't want to go down a chimney because there'll be a fire there, and obviously that's going to be dangerous and dirty. But it was just the version that I heard, it might not have been the smoke hole. It was another, the hatch they get in and out of, which was on the top of the house.
Just ventilation and an emergency exit.
It wasn't a chimney, it was ventilation, or like an entrance exit, but on the top of the house. Yeah. I feel like I should be wearing my Christmas hat.
It's a beautiful medicine as well. Absolutely wonderful medicine.
So what's the difference between a psychoactive and a psychedelic?
That's a very good question. Psychedelic psychoactive can alter your state.
Oh, by the way, the children can come back, but we are talking about psychedelics, so that's on you. But the Christmas stuff is finished.
The education. Psychedelics can bring on all this, you know, all the view, the hallucinations. Psychoactive is a change of state.
It's really interesting. I've just listened to the audio of Professor Nutt's book on it's called Psychedelics. Professor David Nutt. He's a very interesting chap who was working for the British government and then came out with that LSD and MDMA were less damaging to you than alcohol. He was probably fired.
They're not toxic at all.
Yeah, he was probably fired for it. But one of the interesting things that he speaks about in his book is people assume that all the different psychoactive medicines or drugs that people are taking, from LSD to DMT to magic mushrooms to ketamine to the whole range of whatever they are, people assume that this state is that it's a different reaction within your body, a different high, people could say. But what he actually says in this book, which I find absolutely fascinating, was that it's to do with how you're taking it, how quickly it reacts in your body. So DMT tends to be one of the ones, or potentially the one, that sort of takes you to a different dimension extremely quickly, and then you can be living. I mean, I had stories about someone who took some DMT and ended up being on a starship, and he ended up being there and met this lovely alien lady who was brilliant, like in Star Trek or something, you know, so along those sorts of lines. So he was working on this starship, and this beautiful alien lady became good friends with her, went on some dates with her, ended up marrying her, had a couple of kids with her. The kids grew up, and then the kids got to about, I don't know, 15 years old. So it's about a 20-year period that he had in 3 minutes. And then he came back and he was absolutely devastated. Where's my wife? Where's my family? He was just absolutely devastated. So we had maybe experienced a parallel life, or a life within a life, or something interesting happened. But it's a very sudden thing, and that's it's more impactful and otherworldly than some of the other medicines that people may take. And the point, which is really interesting, is what Professor Nutt says is that it's about how quickly you change state. It's because you're taking DMT, you're smoking it, and it goes straight into your brain. So it goes from 0 to 100 in a couple of seconds. And it's how hard that smashes you to how big the trip is. And that's the difference between the different. It's not actually the high. If you took it in the same way at the same speed, then it would actually be the same experience. But it's the speed of ingestion and the speed of it getting into your bloodstream or your brain or wherever it lands.
That's interesting. Very interesting. I've witnessed.
We should get the audio book or read it. I think you'd find it very, very, very interesting. I know I did.
I've seen it firsthand with people returning from DMT and them being very, very confused to be back in this world. What
have they said?
They've just come round and they've not recognised anybody for a good while, a good half an hour, and then it's as they've settled back into the body, their memories are dropping back in, and they're like, I've just lived a lifetime somewhere else. What am I doing back here? And it takes a while for it to settle back into the body.
What do you think is actually happening? Are they? What is that?
Realms. There's 9 different realms within DMT. There's 9 different common realms, but that's come back from group studies, reports back from it. That's to do with Graham Hancock.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that was. I think it might have been a study at Imperial College as well, because there's a few studies going on now. One in Imperial College, one in Japan, one in California, where they're actually trying to map out these realms.
Wow.
It's quite interesting. They've developed a different type of DMT called DMTX, I think it is, where it's on intravenous drip, and it keeps you in that state for hours, keeps you in that place for hours and hours. They're asking for volunteers last year, actually.
Did you put your hand up?
I wish. I'd have been knocking on the door.
Hello.
Yeah. It's a wonderful gift. Dimethyltryptamine is beautiful, and it's also, that's what half the ingredients of ayahuasca are.
Yes. So okay, so any more on mushrooms, or should we move on to some of your rapé? Oh yes, and also before we do move on to that, what is different? What makes your mushroom tinctures special? Is there anything different between what you do and what anyone else does?
Yes, so initially, when we began, we were producing very basic tinctures. So all tincture, people go, what's a tincture? And so all tincture means is of color. So it's a very general umbrella of what a tincture can be. So you walk into your high street herbalist, like I'm not going to mention them. And you buy herbal tincture from there, it'll more than likely just be an ethanol extraction with water added to take down the alcohol content to about 18%, something like that. So it's a lot more palatable. No, that's all well and good, but you're only pulling out a very small amount of the medicine there that can be pulled with ethanol. So within mushroom land, it's a little bit different. So the majority of your commercial mushroom growers and medicine makers will do a double extraction. That is with ethanol and then with water. Not sure what water they use. We use a pure water from a place called Church Stretton. It's a natural primary water source. It's one of the most purest waters in the country, which really matters to us because it still has the spirit in there. So that's a huge part of what we do. So we took it up a level when we were making tinctures. We thought, no, we can do better than this. So we did ethanol and we did hot water extractions, but we also did ice. Now, when you start chucking them in a bit of ice, it starts breaking them cell walls down, breaks the walls of there's chitins in mushrooms. Chitins are like the defender of the mushrooms. It's for us to be able to get to the medicine inside there. There's a lot of us. We get people come to the store and they'll go, oh, I can't have mushrooms because I'm allergic to them. Majority of that is because of the chitins inside the mushrooms, and we don't have the enzymes to break them down. So that's what causes this allergic reaction, if you want to call it that. So yeah, that's what we moved into, triple extractions within tincture world. Now, on my own alchemical journey, as that gets deeper, our next step was elixirs, which has only been three to 6 months, something like that. So an elixir is a much deeper medicine on a spiritual level, physical level, mental, every single plane. It's my outlook as a chemist in training or growth, whatever you want to call me. I'm not fussed. Everything on this planet, me, you, dog, cat, a rock, a blade of grass, it's all got a body, soul, and spirit. Agree?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so within what we do with an elixir, we extract its body, its soul, and its spirit separately with certain techniques, ancient techniques, none of this modern stuff, because modern ways do not pull all the medicine out, and there are big reasons for that, but that can be for another podcast though.
Maybe on Rumble.
So yeah, I extract the three of them separately, purify them down to the rawest form I can. As we go for that purification, intensifies the strength of the medicine 3 to 5 times easily. So then we recombine them back together and then we rehydrate it. That's our elixir. So one of the big parts of that is the sacred fire. Now, I love working with sacred fire. I am a fire sign. It is within me. It works with me. It's my ally. I
can vouch for that 100%.
Yeah, very
amount
much
of fire incidences that we've had, and it's all been under control.
Yeah, it works with me. I have a very special connection with it. So when we've got the leftover materials, I burn it and I burn it and burn it, and all sorts of different colours come out, different spirit animals come out the flame. It's beautiful. I share all these videos in our Telegram community. Please join us. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. There's no silly people in there. It's just love for medicine and sharing and how we can help each other.
Can everyone find that on your website, Mama's Cottage Mushrooms?
Yeah, it's very simple to find. So yeah, I'll burn it and then it'll go black, and then it'll go grey, and then it'll go white. When I've got it to white, that's what I'm after. Now, then when it's white, it goes back into water then, and then I'll filter it, and then I will take the water down, evaporate down, and it leaves a salt. Now that salt, we call that the body. And it's very simple. The body of something heals your body. It's really simple. The spirit of it heals your spirit. The soul of it heals your soul. So that part of exposing the soul, to exposing the body of it, is not done anymore in any modern techniques.
Right.
Why? For what reason? I don't have an answer for that. But
Well, we know why.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's the spirit and the soul of the mushroom then?
We expose that with different solvents. It depends on what medicine we're working with. We expose it in different ways because there'll be different types of compounds in there that need a different type of solvent. And we class water as a solvent as well. So it's usually, in general, it's extracting its essential oil. It's first in the first place, and then using the ethanol to extract that part of them compounds from the medicine. And then what's remaining is what we burn. And then that's my really fun bit that I really enjoy. But I love all of it. It's my meditation. It's my spiritual growth. It's so as I purify that medicine, it's a mirror of me, and it's how I purify myself. You know, that's my ascension path, if you wish to describe it as that.
Beautiful. That's really lovely.
It's really honourable work. I love it.
Okay, so let's move on to the stuff you do with, is it Peru or the Amazon, where you have these lovely rapes, and what the Dickens is this I have in my hand?
But tell us,
what did you make me buy?
Your little stories about it first, eh?
It's very fun. So we ended up buying some of these, and you have to. I've had this before somewhere, and we ended up having a fun night with this, where we were, because you have to inhale it, but you sort of blow it up other people's noses. And so I bought a pipe to do that. And honestly, we did not know what we were doing. And we were just making a big mess. And it was just so weird that we just got the giggles, and we couldn't stop giggling. And I mentioned it to two of the people who were there in the last couple of days, and they had a 10-minute laughing fit. Just awesome. The very mention of it had this huge laughing fit, because we were just like, what is this? And how does this work? And then we ended up, it's this pipe thing, which is very, it's very beautiful. We ended up, we basically decided that making didgeridoo noises was the best way to be doing it. And then Dolly, my lovely practitioner Dolly, knows how to play a didgeridoo randomly. And Dolly's in her 70s, and she was like, making all these noises. And it was just like playing the didgeridoo, blowing these weird powders up our noses. It was just absolutely beyond hilarious, and I think maybe, I don't know if there were any of them had laughing qualities to them, but surely to Betsy we were just absolutely laughing our heads off. And I mean, so much so I think everyone went and bought more the next day, because they just found it such great comedy. Have you got one of those? What are you bringing to show everyone? So we
pipe. So that's a tepi. It's a very basic tepi with your didgeridoo playing.
Well, the thing is, we bought these ones which was self-administering, just to try these things, and then that's the self-administering one. Yeah.
So that's my one that I use.
Yeah. So and then we went to the one for each other, and it was just, I mean, we got everyone on it in the end, because a couple of people in our house were a bit shy at the beginning, and then everyone was doing it, and everyone had these different techniques, because we went back and you would like showing us these different techniques. There was like a Lamar's breathing one and all these different things, and so we were just like making up these weird techniques and using your ones and trying to remember what they were. It was absolutely, it's just because we didn't know what the hell we were doing. It was just so
you enjoyed yourself, you're smiling, you're healing. That's what it's all about, you know.
Yeah. So what are they? So how does it all work? Tell it. Yeah, that's my experience of it. I'm sure that wasn't very ceremonial, but it was very, very funny.
When we first came across Happy, Matty bought it for me for a birthday a couple of years ago. So he gifted it to me, and I was like, "Thanks. What do I do with it?" And
what is this bird?
Well, I had a history of putting quite a lot of stuff up my nose in my younger years, and so I was thinking, this is going to reignite an old habit that I really don't wish to have anymore. So I was very new to it, so I did a lot of reading, a lot of research about it to say, what is this? What do I use it for? What's the intention behind it? All those sort of reasons. So there are different reasons. on different intentions of happy. So, for example, in one tribe, the tribes people have a large amount. So you're probably thinking about a 50p pence size, like a mound. And so they have that with the intention of before going on a hunt. So the reason being is that the tribesmen have this for they then connect with the animal that they're going to go and hunt. So after they've had the happy, they go into an altered state, like a sort of a meditation sort of state, just so people get an idea. It's not hallucinogenic. However, it depends on which happy you use and what the intention is behind it. I mean, I've used happy to do a soul retrieval. So there are lots of different intentions. But for this example, the tribesmen would have the happy. They would then go into an altered state. They would then connect with the animal that they're going to go and hunt. So then they would have this otherworldly communication with the animal. So the animal knows it's time. So the animal surrenders itself, and then the fear has been released, and it comes to peace. So then the tribes then aren't also going, all bolshy and rari into the hunt. They're going very peacefully and respectfully, and the animal, they then meet the animal during the hunt, and it's just done very respectfully, because then the entire animal is then used within the tribe community for medicine, for clothes, for tools, for warmth, and for their house as well. So happy was a tool that the tribes people use to connect and find out where the animal is, and to make that communication, to have that respect and that peacefulness as well. That's just one example of how it's used, but there are many other ways of why people use happy as well, and having giggles too.
Yeah, I work with another medicine called Cambo. Have you come across Cambo?
I know of it. Yes, I know of it. I haven't taken it, but I do know of it. You get the funny little scars. It's frogs.
Yeah, I'm covered in them. I really am. There's a big old frog in the Amazon called Philomedusa bicolor, or the giant monkey tree frog, and it lives up in the tree, so it's arboreal, so it never gets wet. It never comes down to water, basically. So it produces a secretion to protect itself from the sun, and this is what Cambo is. It's a secretion from this frog. But it actually contains, I think it's, if I'm not wrong, I think it's 25 peptides it contains, such as dermacectin and a few others. And what a peptide does, it presses buttons in the body for it to react in different ways. So within the Cambo secretion, frog secretion, when you put it into the lymphatic system, which is what the little burns are on the arm, they're only little nicks through 2 layers, I think, is to the white layer, the shiny white layer, the lymphatic system. You push the frog secretion into that, and the body purges massively. So purge can be, you can be sick, you might need to go to the loo, sweat, growl, roar, whatever's got to come out. But when I serve somebody with that, if they struggle to purge, I wrap out the nose, and then they purge straight away. You've got to jump out the way then.
Right.
But I also use it when I serve Cambo to people. I connect very deeply with them, and I can begin to purge as well.
Ooh.
So if I use rapé, because its base is mapacho, which is real tobacco, not what we class as tobacco in the Western world. Real tobacco is a very spiritual plant. We class it as grandfather spirit, which is, grandmother is ayahuasca, grandfather is mapacho. So it's got that masculine.
San Pedro, I think, is also grandfather, isn't it?
Which one?
San Pedro is also known as grandfather. So there must be several. Yeah.
So we look at it as it's that it grounds you, it centers you, it's a protector. So for me, it helps me to disconnect from somebody when I'm serving to them, if I get too deep with it, and I need to stop myself purging at the same time, basically. But when I went through initiation into Cambo, which was quite deep, that was 3 times in 3 hours. I was served rapé, 4 rounds of rapé, but with golf ball sizes of it. It was massive.
Yeah, how much is the dosage meant to be? I know you've mentioned that it's. We were just doing these tiny little amounts, but I mean, what is the dosage? We didn't actually, or work that out.
Okay, really.
I would suggest for people to start off with like a petit pois size, the little petit pois pea size. Is to start off with that amount, and you just find where your sweet spot is really, or depending how you want to go with the medicine. There's no right or wrong. It's about building your connection and about building your technique as well. As you know, there's a bit of a technique to use when you're using it as well.
Here we do.
So it really depends. It's definitely starting off with a petit pois pea size to begin.
Yeah, you make your friends with the spirits of that medicine, really. You know, you take your time with it, you introduce yourself, you shake hands, and then you build that relationship slowly. Like anything, like any of the medicines, like mushrooms, you take your time with them, don't rush.
Wonderful. So what the Happ, what different qualities do they have? Because I know you had, what do they do differently? Some they have different qualities and things that they do to you, different effects.
Yeah,
you got different ones. I mean, you got some. I mean, they're pretty much all based with mapacho, so they all have that mapacho base. Now, people, that is tobacco, but it's not tobacco that you find here in the western side as well. So it's nothing like tobacco here. You have different sorts that can connect you to like your higher chakras, your third eye, your crown chakra. So you feel quite elevated, connected to source, spirit, universe, whatever terminology you wish to use. You've got one that kind of works with sinuses, so like Cambo or eucalyptus will help to clear the sinuses. You got others that will help you ground, others that will help connect with your heart. So if you struggle to really open your heart to people, or like you said, with releasing trauma and things like that as well, there's Happs that can help just to loosen those cages around the heart a little bit, just to let the light through a bit more. There's ones that can protect, to help protect, like Jaguar kind of cleanses negative energies. So sometimes when we've been working at a show, there's a lot of energy that's flying around.
Yeah.
And so we're very conscious about our protection, about cleansing during, after any sort of event or show that we have to do. So there's quite a number of different ones to use. There's different strengths. You can have some that are quite mild or some that are quite strong. However, as we've experienced, when I found something that's quite mild for me, Matt has gone, oh, no, that blows my socks off. So again, it's with any sort of plant medicine, be it anything from cacao or like to DMT that we mentioned earlier, you can have different amounts. So everyone is very unique and individual and have different sensitivities as well. So like we said, with the Happ, you can have like a petit pois pea size. For some people, that is absolutely plenty enough, and any more would just be way too much. You'd have a really nasty experience. You wouldn't go back to it again.
Purge as well a lot.
Right.
The same with, on the other hand, like with DMT, if you have a small amount, then you're going to build your confidence and trust in that journey, and you will go back for more. If you have like a large amount and you had that massive rocket shoved up your ass, you catapulted in from different dimensions, you're never going to go back because you've been scared shitless.
Not ready for it, yeah.
So it's like with anything.
You might be looking for your wife on the spaceship. I've got to go back and find my family. Oh my God.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then with anything, with working with plant medicine, I think the missing key that a lot of people don't realize is your intention. Your intention speaks volumes. And if you have your intention from the right place, and this is going into like manifestation. Some people think, I just have to go, I'd like to have £1 million in a great big house. It's all done. And it isn't about that. You say the words, but you've got to feel it. You've got to imagine it's already happened. You've got to live that way already. It's the same with when you're using the plant medicine with your intention. If there's something you particularly want to release, let's go back to trauma one, because everyone has some trauma stuck in them, regardless. It can be little traumas or big traumas. There's you have a little fallout with somebody, that's your little trauma. But if you want to release that and let that go, you put that intention in. And then when you use the plant medicine, then that's going to help connect to that to release it out
Beautiful. So have you got anything coming up, any events, anything, any offerings you'd like to share?
We have, yes.
We are on the final run for this year.
Yeah, it's been a big year. We've done over 40 shows this year.
Ooh, that's busy.
We proper, as well as managing website. We now took on ceremonies. Me serving Cambo, because I go out and do one-to-ones in people's houses. Kate hosts cacao ceremony every month, and on the 16th of this month, next month, yeah, sorry,
of December 2023. For anyone who's watching at a different time, yes, continue.
We have a rather big cacao ceremony, 5 hours long. Kate's going to take you on a journey with a couple of other workers of magic.
Where is this? This is available online. Can people? They can do it online, because we had people. No.
Not as in purchase online, sorry.
No, you can buy the tickets online. It's an in-person
event. No, I have a number of my audiences is in Australia and America, so they often wonder if they can do it.
Australia, it's not a problem. If you want to pay for the flight, that's not a problem. We can come to some sort of arrangement.
Well, we're going to Switzerland in March to hold amanita ceremony, actually. Deep Journey amanita ceremony. That's another plan for next year. But the cacao ceremony in December, 5 hours. 3 hours with breath work.
In where is it in England?
Just outside Shrewsbury, Shropshire.
Shropshire. Okay, people will ask this question.
Yeah, of course. So breath work, crystal bowls, Kate taking you on the journey. Then we have a conscious music DJ for a few hours at the end, just to finish it all off. It's our 2-year anniversary. What we've created with Mama's Cottage. So we just want to celebrate with everybody.
So
it's been a beautiful journey for us, and this is the start of us giving back a lot. Back to the rapé. We support the Honey Queen tribe now in Brazil through the sales of the rapé and through the sales of the Amazonian apparel we have, such as necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and beautiful stuff. Find them online as well. So how
do you support the tribe? How does that work? What does that mean?
We're working through a charity. The name slips me right now, but we're building malokas. Now, a maloka is a sacred space where the tribes can make the medicines, make the rapé, hold the ceremonies. And through the same guys, which is Cody and Maisie, beautiful people, beautiful souls. And we're also supplying moon cups into the ladies of the tribes as well. So it's just feels so beautiful what we're starting to do now.
And you have a 12 days of something. What's that about? Okay. 12 days of mushmas. So because when we first met, we were both on benefits. We were rubbing 2 pennies together. Me as a single mom, living in rented accommodation on benefits, trying to give everything that I possibly could to the kids to make sure they had a decent life, and Matty by himself doing what he was doing. So, we've been there. We've been there when times are really, really hard. We've been there when, families take the toll. We've been there when your health suffers and you really wish that you could go along alternative routes. But as we know, when you're buying it, it can be really expensive, and you put yourself last. You put your family, children first, and your health becomes last. And so we recognize that. So in December and also January, so December, we are doing 12 days of mushmas. So what that is, we're doing 12 days where each day we're doing an individual showcase on our mushroom tinctures, where we're offering a substantial discount for that 24 hours. And each day is going to be a different product that we're going to offer the discount on. Matty said as well that we're also going to do a flash sale where there is it a bigger discount?
Yeah, we're going to give them 33%, aren't we?
We're doing a big discount as well on that flash sale too. So it's for that time where people, have been thousands of people now are using our products, and the amount of feedback that we have that it's improved things like the Alzheimer's, the dementia, the ADHD, mental health is a big, big, big one.
And
pain, cancer. We have, people that we have built this relationship in to improve their health. We've had people come off the medication who wish to remain off their medication as well. So we really appreciate that this time of year it is a challenge. And then also in January, when I do my cacao ceremony, that's donation based. It's not a payment, it's a donation based. If it's a quid, then that is good enough. It's just sustaining that when people have made that commitment of making themselves well, or having the intention of making themselves well, and are on that path already, be it going into cacao ceremony to receive that healing, to have that time for just them, to get away from that family, from their job, just for that 3 hours where they can be them and be in that secure, safe environment. And then having received the medicine in December as well, then we're in a position that we can actually offer that. And it makes us feel good that we're still helping other people when it's pretty challenging out there in the big wide world. And if we can help just a little bit so people can carry on that path of being well and remaining well, then we'll do what we can.
Beautiful.
There's more coming as well. There's going to be more help given as well in the future. You know, one thing we've discussed is setting up some sort of like hardship fund where people can apply for funding for medicine. You know, it's just, there's plenty going on, so we can help more and more. We're looking into home education. We start a home education class next month to teach children about energy work and medicine and nature and the things that have been forgotten. We've got to teach the generations these things. It only takes 2 generations and it's all gone. We've lost it.
So if anyone wants to, do you have newsletters on your website, which is coming along the bottom of the screen now, Mama's Cottage Mushrooms?
Yeah, if people go onto our website, there'll be a pop-up that comes up with the big amanita mushroom on there, which will just ask for them to put in their email address. If you do that, then I will send out newsletters. I don't spam, I don't put out jargon. It's not even on a regular basis. It's when I get either downloads that I need to share within our community or give updates of what is happening. So next month there will be one coming out to give like a heads up of the 12 days of Mushmas and the flash sale. So it's when things are coming up, then I send out newsletters to people.
Great. And then also you can follow you on your socials. Wonderful. Absolutely. All right. Any final words that you'd like to share?
Yeah. Stop looking down at your devices and start looking at nature again. She really misses you all massively. We are nature, and we've just got so disconnected and so lost. She's still there for you. She's still shouting out every single second. She's shouting out for you, and she misses you all.
That came through when I did my last cacao ceremony, because I took a channel light language, and a big channel came through for me, and it was along those same sort of lines, you know, that people are starting to take more control and power over their own health and their own wellness. And a lot of it is getting outside. And I appreciate that a lot of people live in towns and cities. That's okay. You know, just have green, a color green, have some plants in your workspace, in your home, because that's still nature there. You're bringing that nature inside. And if you can get the chance to go and visit a park, just go and do that, because all the nature elements are there, the fairies or whatever your belief is, the spirits of nature take note, and it makes them feel rejoiced and happy that you're taking note, and then it's returned straight back to you.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Kate and Matty, for joining me today. It's been a wonderful, beautiful interview. And thank you, everyone, for watching. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you click the subscribe button now. And thank you, everybody, and bye-bye.
Bye.